Hello everyone, I'm Martin and I have decided to create this channel about languages and the related stuff. What am I gonna do here? First, I should probably say something about myself and about my language learning journey, because I'm gonna talk here about how I learn, about my current issues related to language learning and so on. So, I'm a graduate of British and American Studies, which consisted of three components: British Studies, American Studies, and English language. And this is my formal linguistic background, as you can see, with a focus on English. As for the languages that I speak and have been learning, so far I've been learning many languages, some of them more extensively, some of them only very briefly. I started at school with English, which later became my main professional focus. Then German. And this I didn't learn very well. I didn't develop a good relationship with it during my school years. And also Russian, in which basically I learned only how to read and write. So this was my school-based language experience, my beginnings. As for the beginning of all other languages, the first language that I learned on my own outside school was Spanish. It happened while I was studying at the university. We had about 2 months of summer vacations, so I had a lot of free time. Before that, I had the idea of learning this language, which I somehow had been interested in even before. So I bought a Spanish textbook for autodidacts, so that I could learn on my own without attending a course or without needing a teacher. And I started systematically working on Spanish. The textbook had, I don't know exactly how many units or lessons. Each unit there consisted of several distinct sections. So I made a plan for those 2 months, and I systematically studied one such section at a time, and I managed to go through this textbook within those 2 months. And this was the first time that I was learning some language entirely on my own. Not long after that, I also tried French in a similar way, but that language I did not manage to internalize that much like Spanish. I remember that when I tried to speak it a bit, I got discouraged, and so I probably suppressed it in my mind somehow afterwards. And this Spanish-French episode was the second part of my language learning journey. The first part being the school years, as I have mentioned before. And as for the final expansion of my language interests, or third part of my language learning journey, after that, I got busy with other things, but from time to time, I was buying some textbooks for some other languages, which I considered that I could learn in the future, possibly. And then when when another period of time appeared, when I had a bit more free time, I started learning again from those materials that I had acquired in between. I don't know which language was first in this phase. I think it was Greek, and then Italian, but I'm not entirely sure. Well, in between, I've been postponing also learning Russian in a formal or explicit way, because I had always understood this language to a satisfactory degree without learning it. However, I started learning, for example, more difficult languages like Hungarian, Turkish, and so on. So, gradually, one by one, I started learning all of the languages that came to my mind. I even made, I remember, I even made a long list of interesting or useful languages, and I was learning them step by step, one by one. They were mostly European languages. I tried most of them. I became especially interested in the four big Romance languages: Spanish, French, Portuguese, and Italian. But and I was interested also in some other languages like Hebrew, Arabic, Chinese, Japanese. Most of these were quite challenging, and I never learned any of them to a satisfactory post-beginner level because I wanted to dedicate my time to the languages that I could learn better and faster. But for example, even recently I also tried Indonesian, for example. Over time, the number of the languages that I somehow at least tried to learn, got to over 20. As for the preferred varieties of some world languages, such as English, Spanish, or Portuguese, the materials that I had available and used in the beginning were focused on their European version. So I was learning those varieties in the beginning, in each case. However, later on, for each of these three languages, I switched to their version used on the American continent. With the Spanish and Portuguese, I did this quite recently, when I was finally more anchored in these languages. I'm actually still in the process of learning them, so this and I should mention that after a few attempts, I also somehow found my way to German, which also made it into my current priority list, which first of all includes the above mentioned four big Romance languages: Spanish, French, Portuguese, Italian. So, as you can see, my language learning gradually got out of control, so to say. Most of the languages that I'm still learning or improving are around B1 level. Some better, some worse. Especially speaking needs improvement in some of them. So this is the stage at which I'm at the moment. As I mentioned, currently I'm focusing on improving especially improving my Spanish, French, Portuguese, Italian, German, and also Russian is lurking around a bit. Well, I think this is enough for now. As I already mentioned, I want to make some more language-related content here. I'll see how it goes, and I'll adjust the content according to the current needs or interests. And hopefully this will continue. Thank you very much for watching. See you again next time, and goodbye.